Hey everyone, it's Lily. It's Tuesday and we are on long call, meaning that I got here at 7 this morning. We got sign out and we are here to answer all of the rapid response and code blue calls, and we'll stay and admit patients starting at 5 p.m. We'll probably get 5 admissions. There's 3 of us, so I should get 2 admissions, the other intern should get 2, and the sub-I will get 1. My entire team right now is at Sim Lab, so I have the room all to myself. This is our team room. My senior sits there, med student sits here, another intern sits here, and then 2 med students sit here. So the team room is very full when we are rounding on our patients. Usually we'll do table rounds, but on the first day of a new attending, we go and see patients at bedside. I wanted to talk about a situation here that reminded me of why I wanted to go to medical school as a former registered nurse. And one of the things is the knowledge deficit and knowledge gap. This was something that I noticed when I was a nurse, and it encouraged me and inspired me to go to medical school, honestly. And now that I am a resident physician, I notice it even more. I have a patient who has asymptomatic bradycardia, meaning that they have a low heart rate, it's in the 30s, and they have no symptoms, absolutely none. They don't get dizzy, no lightheadedness, and when they stand up and walk, their heart rate responds accordingly, which means it goes up appropriately. But you can have low heart rate and have high blood pressure, and your blood pressure still needs to get managed. So they're on a medication called losartan, and that is a blood pressure lowering medication that works on angiotensin II receptors, meaning that it prevents vasoconstriction and helps the blood vessels dilate, keeps them open, keeps their blood pressure down. But it does not affect the heart rate at all. And every single morning I get a message from the nurse if they can give the losartan. And I'm always like, yes, of course, losartan does not affect the heart rate. And it's just one of those things. I think that they're a great nurse, for one, communicating that with me every day. But also my job is to let them know that, if this patient has a low heart rate and a low blood pressure, then yes, we should hold the blood pressure medication, that specific one. Or if this blood pressure medication was a beta blocker like metoprolol, then we should definitely hold it, because that would affect the heart rate more. But we have very different roles, right? As a nurse, that is not something that you need to know. And I do feel like some nurses are more receptive to learning than others. Some just want to kind of get through their day, and some actually want to know why we're doing things. I'm not sure if this nurse wanted to know why. She never asked me, but I did share that losartan does not affect the heart rate, that the main thing that we should be looking for is if this patient becomes symptomatic, meaning that they get up, they get lightheaded, they get dizzy, then we need to call cardiology so that patient can get a pacemaker, because that is what would help them in this situation, right? If you have symptomatic bradycardia that we cannot treat with atropine, it doesn't respond, that kind of stuff, then we need to go into more aggressive situations. But a patient with asymptomatic bradycardia that responds appropriately when they get up and move with high blood pressure, you still need to treat the blood pressure. So just a reminder of why I wanted to go back to medical school. It kind of helps bring full circle for me to be able to reassure nurses and be very grateful for my training. Good morning. It's Wednesday morning. I am on post call today. Last night I got home around 7:45. I feel like on those very long call days, I just get home, shower, wake up the next morning, and I go right back to work. It just feels like such a short time at home. This morning I woke up to a brand deal collaboration, and it happened very quickly. I'm going to spend this morning sending this brand an invoice and probably get their deliverable posted today. So that's exciting. The nice thing about PayPal is I can send invoices via their website. I'll show you. There's a link here for business tools, and click on invoicing, get started, create new invoice, and I just fill out the invoice. The thing about being a med influencer is that some of these brand deals take weeks to go through. We go back and forth about script writing, and I send drafts of my reels, whereas there's some that all they want is a very simple 1 to 2 frame on the story, and I can get that done very quickly, and they're happy to send the invoice very quickly. So that basically all went down in the last 30 minutes. All right, made it to work. Sometimes I make it here early, a little too early, like 20 minutes, and I don't want to walk in. I just want to stay in my car until the very last minute. It's good for me to get here early to get sign out and take the load off of the night team and have some extra time to look over my patients before we round. Usually I get here around 7 a.m. We start rounding around 8:30. Sometimes the attending wants to round at 8:15, which means I need to get my entire plan together and see all of my patients before 8:15. We discuss the patients. Today I have 5 patients. I think I'm going to discharge 4 of them, which is a lot of work. It's just a lot of coordination. It's all the social work coordination that I don't want to continue doing in my career, and I won't have to do that as a radiologist. So I'm glad to kind of wrap that up in the next 2.5 weeks. I'm on day 10 of 30 days of VA internal medicine, and you better bet I am counting down each day. All right, let's go in. I am watching someone get a parking ticket. They're parked in like an entirely red curbed area. This area at the VA gets really full of cars because physicians, volunteers, patients all park here. And when you come late, you don't get a parking spot. And they parked in a totally red curbed area. Can you see the police? It's only 11 a.m. and I am post-call, meaning we don't take any admissions today. And I saw all of my follow-up patients. I had 5 to see, and 2 of which are pending placement to a rehab facility. That just takes so long, and I basically am not medically managing them anymore, and they're just waiting to get accepted to an assisted living facility. So it's all social work based, and I'm hoping to discharge another. But part of being at the VA is I answer calls until 7 p.m. Hey, it's Dr. Wynn with Team B. Yeah, what's up? Okay. So has cardiology seen him yet? Okay, let me just try to get a hold of them. I ended up on a very long phone call with the nurse and the patient. When we're on the VA service, we have to be available till 7 p.m. So even though I'm leaving at 11 a.m., I am still answering calls until 7. I am at home, I'm on a remote access, and I'm putting in orders, writing notes for discharges throughout the day. So it doesn't mean that my work actually ends, and I actually have to be by the computer so that I can sign in remotely. Sometimes when I go back home at 11 a.m. and it's super nice out, I want to go on a long 4-hour hike, but I can't do that. I'm not allowed. So I end up going home. Typically I'll have some lunch. I might get on my exercise bike. I'm on day 10 of 30 of my VA medicine rotation. Today is technically my Friday since I have tomorrow off. I'm going to try to get some stuff packed this afternoon for my move in July. But I did want to just mention the perks of being a hospitalist, which I do not want to be. I don't want to be an internal medicine doctor who works in the hospital. That's what a hospitalist is. But there's a lot of perks to it. You work 7 days on and 7 days off. At the VA, I think the VA requires that their hospitalists stay on campus from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. for those 7 days straight. But I know that community hospitals, like the hospital that I typically rotate at, don't require that. So often the hospitalists will come in and round on their patients in the morning, and they leave between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., depending on if they've capped on admissions for the day. They'll sometimes go and work other jobs, like they're medical directors of skilled nursing facilities. They'll go and round on their patients there, and they'll come back to the hospital. Or they'll just go home and answer calls from home. It seems like a very flexible job in that way. When we are on our internal medicine rotations here, our schedule, even though I was working 13 hours yesterday, today I only worked a few hours and I can go home. That flexibility helps with the burnout, because if I had to do 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. 6 days a week, every single day on campus, that would be so much harder. I'm sure I'll get a ton more calls throughout the day, and we'll see what ends up happening. That was a call on a patient who wanted to leave against medical advice, or AMA. My attending right now has this whole soapbox about patients leaving against medical advice, and basically he doesn't believe in it. He believes that doctors really don't have a say in against medical advice because people's idea of what their health is very personal. We make suggestions and patients will make the decisions for themselves. As long as they understand the risk and benefits, they have capacity to make their own decisions, then whatever medical advice they want to accept is valid. Whatever kind of health that they want to be in, or their goals for health, is completely valid for them personally. And we really shouldn't have a say in telling them that this is them leaving against medical advice if they want to leave the hospital. So I thought it was a really interesting take on AMA discharges, because that happens often a lot at the VA, because veterans are very strong-willed and strongly opinionated. They are very independent, and often once they receive what they want from the hospital, they want to leave as soon as possible. And I understand for that. Like, who would want to stay in the hospital for days on end? Obviously, I told this patient that if they wanted to leave, I cannot stop them from leaving, tell them what the risks and benefits are, and they can make their own informed decision on leaving. It is now 12:30. I have yet to eat lunch because I've been working at home. It's nice to be able to be at home and in the comfort of my home to work, but it's a bit of a drag to continue working, obviously. When I'm at the community hospital, I can leave work, sign out to the team who is staying at the hospital, and they take care of all the calls. I'm going to go ahead and get this patient discharged from home. I like that I'm able to do it from here, so it's not a big issue. Alright, it's 2 in the afternoon, and I'm gonna make myself a boba. I usually get frozen boba from Trader Joe's. And some high quality oat milk. Put it with some ice and enjoy that as my afternoon drink. I usually can't deal with a second cup of coffee because that's just too much caffeine, but I do love an afternoon boba. Like I said, it's 2 o'clock, and even though I left the hospital at 11 a.m., I still had to do a lot of work. I was answering a ton of messages on Microsoft Teams, which is the messaging system that the VA uses. I was answering a lot of social work information and questions from the nurses about orders. Here's my favorite oat milk, Minor Figures. I just order a giant box of it from Amazon. All right, here's the boba. 45 seconds in the microwave. All the social work stuff that I do on wards is so draining. Sometimes it's not the actual work itself, it's like figuring out how to get the work done. Because I had to refer a patient to a specific subacute rehab facility within the VA hospital system, but this isn't a very straightforward order that I place. It's like buried deep within the EMR, and unless someone explicitly tells you exactly how to get to this order, there's no intuitive way to get there. So often I'm waiting for social work or a person who is experienced with using the EMR tell me those directions before I can even get my actual work done. Part of that just adds to how long it takes to get things done. I feel very inefficient, not helpful. That's just the way of life at the VA. No shortcuts, baby. This is a cup that I designed. I designed it for funsies for me, but I can link it if any of you actually want one of these as well. So good. All right, let's go check to see if we got any more messages from anyone from the VA. And if we didn't, then I am going to probably do some more packing or organizing the house, getting rid of things. We have some boxes already packed, as you can see. One of the things that I've learned about packing and moving across country is that you should have started packing yesterday, start packing sooner than later. So I'm trying to just get on top of things and pack as soon as possible. We have gotten almost everything off of our walls, because that's one of the things that you could start packing first, right? Like anything that's hung up on the walls is not really necessary. We got all of our artwork down, we packed that all up, and all of our winter weather clothes all packed up. So I'll see what I can pack up today, maybe some crafts that I am not gonna have time to do. The reality of moving is getting closer and closer.
Hello. Audio mode.
Let's go for a ride. Good morning, it is Friday. I am on short call today, meaning that we admit patients from 8 a.m. to noon. So we take our last admission at noon, which hopefully we'll get all of our admissions before then and I can get home a little earlier. I was off yesterday. I ended up running 10 miles and doing a bunch of to-do list stuff for packing and getting ready for our move. I decluttered, I packed a box of stuff, I cleaned the house. We have someone coming to see the house to rent it tomorrow. I didn't do any filming yesterday because I had so much that I wanted to get done, and sometimes filming can distract me from all the things that I need to prioritize. So I didn't do any filming, sorry, but it was a nice day off. I was able to have dinner with one of my med school friends and then spent the evening at my sister's house hanging out with my entire family, and that was much needed. Today is kind of a special day. It is exactly 1 year from when I graduated medical school. Last year our graduation was on May 9th and I got to see all of my classmates. After match day, which was in March, I ended up going on several international trips, and just a few days before graduation, I was actually in Nepal trekking the Himalayas. I got back from Nepal for a couple of days and went to my medical school graduation. Med school graduation is when they actually give you your doctorate hood and you get your medical degree. My mom threw me like a little family party that night, and I think back to it fondly. It's crazy how quickly the years go by, and I always encourage people who are afraid of the timeline of medicine. The time passes anyway. I'm now already a year away from my graduation. That's insane to me. So if you're thinking about going to medical school and you're a registered nurse or any other non-traditional student, just know that the time passes anyway, and you can either be where you are right now with a medical degree, or still wondering if you should have started that first step. The first step is always the hardest. Don't forget that I have a full step-by-step guide. I will link it in my description. Over 250 nurses have already got a hold of my RNtoMD guide. I poured my heart and soul into writing that ebook. It has all of the information you need to get started. Please check it out if you haven't already. I think I'll end this week's vlog here. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment box. And per usual, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm now halfway through my last inpatient wards rotation. I can't wait to get done, and I will see you guys next week.